Hi, I'm Marysol. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm planning from December 4th through the 10th, and I'm a little behind, so this is why this is coming up so late. But I am using Planet Darby's Simply Tree Meadows, Snowed In, Snowbirds, her cold quotes, and her Forest Cody's Cody's Forest Friends, I think it is. They're all in her shop. Most of these are from her Black Friday release. And so what I'm trying to do here is a scene in the bottom. And I mean, I don't know, Christmas this time reminds me of like big mountains of snow and Christmas trees and just, you know, well, not Christmas trees, but pine trees and just all, the code fields. So I am just figuring out here placement where I want my snow mountains to be, because what I want to do is a scene on the bottom of the page, which includes kind of a lot of layering of the snow, trees, and the forest animals. Now, I had planned to do kind of like a real-time plan with me. However, I struggled a lot with this spread, and I wanted to spare you the time. It took about an hour and 20 minutes of real time, and so it was a lot of flip throughs, a lot of moving, changing. I decided during mid spread that I wanted the forest animals to be smaller to kind of give the impressions that some were closer and some were further away. So I went to my Cricut and printed, cut and print, right? Print and cut. And the first batch, well, that didn't turn out all that great. So I had to go back a second time to print and cut. And so, yeah, this took a very long time. It took all morning. And so I decided that it would be best if I cut it up, speed it, and do a voiceover. So this is what we're doing. So with the snowed in, you can do really nice layering and kind of attach them to the different cuts, and it's gonna look seamlessly like it belonged together. So that is what I'm doing there on the bottom. And as you can see, those two hills, like the big one and the small one, do come together nicely. And so now I'm gonna layer that other snow on the top. But first, no, yeah, I do. I thought I cut it first, but no, I'm going to do this layering first. I am going to, I printed a lot of these snowed in for, I don't know what reason. Well, no, I do know. I had already some printed, but I wanted the big ones, and I had a really hard time with my Cricut. I don't know what was going on the other day with it when I printed all of these and then did the cut. And so it was jamming, it was just not working. So that's why I have multiple copies. And instead of just taking what I was going to use, I brought them all to my table, which is why I have a mess. I don't know if other planners are like me, but I am like the messiest planner there is. When I see other like YouTube channels or people that they plan so neat, like all you see is their sheets and the stickers they have in their hand, and that's it. And I just don't plan like that. And it also can be that I don't really have a big space where I plan, which is probably why I have everything so close. So if you have a big planner area, please let me know. Maybe that's what it is. I need probably a bigger table. But for now, this is what I have and this is what I'm going to use. So like I said, I do a lot of layering of the snowed in stickers, and I really like the look of it. In the end, like at first I thought it just looked like a crazy hot mess. But then as I go on and start adding more stickers and the animals to it, it just looks so much, it really looked really nice layering. At least to me. It probably doesn't look nice layering right now, but in the end, it really does come all together. So here I am. I'm continuing to put the snow on the bottom, and I am going to repeat this process where I try to find the matching end to it to overlap it so it doesn't look so out of, so it looks more like it continues versus it cuts off abruptly. And for the trees, I did cut the bottom part because I wanted it to look like realistically like it was, you know, coming from the snow versus maybe if it had a trunk, I probably would have left it, but it didn't have a trunk. So it just looked like it was ready to pack to be in a home. So that is why I'm I cut it off, and I'm gonna scoot it a little bit down and try to put it behind some snow so it looks like it's behind some things. So here I am. I'm gonna try to find the part that goes seamlessly, and then I'm just going to put it on top. So the tree looks like it's coming out of the snow instead of it kind of looking weird. So on the other side, I looked at my page, and that left page, no, the right page looks really nice layered with all the different snow, so it gives it a lot of dimension. But then on the other side, it doesn't have a lot of layering, so I decided to go back in and add a little bit of a layer. But I couldn't get my pages straight enough, so as you can see, that's what I'm doing right here. I'm struggling to get it straight. The middle part doesn't bother me so much because when it goes on the rings, you can't really see it, or you won't be able to tell as much. And so that's why I wasn't worried about it, but I did want a little bit of more layering than what it had. So I'm going to cut it off, and then I'm going to cut that piece off and separate my pages. And I start to add the animals, and I started with the bear. And this is where it gets interesting because I kind of start putting them on, and then I start moving them around and taking them off and on. And in the end, I just needed some big animals and some small animals. And I didn't have that available, which is why I decided to remove the bears. And then where I have that big bear, I'm going to put the deer because I wanted the deer to be closer, to seem like the deer was closer of the scene versus behind. So I play around a lot where I wanted the deer. So I thought up there, but then it just didn't look weird. It didn't look right. And I also want to include a little bit of that grass, because to me, like, sometimes there's areas where the grass pops from the snow. So I was trying to get that effect. But everywhere I placed the deer with the grass just didn't look right. And so I kind of decide to put him right there. However, I moved them closer to the middle, which is something you don't see. I moved them closer to the middle and the grass a little bit off the page on the bottom, which worked a lot better. So it looked a little bit, not a little bit, it just looks a lot more realistic than what I was doing before. So I add that washi to the top, and to be honest, I didn't know, I really don't know how I feel about it at the time that I placed it. I didn't remove it, to be honest. I kept it there, which is okay. Honestly, it didn't bug me enough to go back and remove it. Usually if it bugs me a lot, I will go back and remove it. So I know it's really heavy on decor on the bottom, so I start to think like, where do I want to add my functions and my lines? So this is where I'm starting to add kind of my checklists. Now, I added to the Wednesday on the top, and then I add some more on Friday. I kind of was indecisive if I wanted to add checklists on Sunday, because honestly, during the weekends, our plans start to dwell down. I have things that I do with the kids, and things I do at home, but I kind of like spread those tasks around my spread. So I really don't need a whole lot of space during the weekend, which is why I put the trees and kind of heavily decorated on the bottom. So I decided to hold off on putting lines on Sunday, and thought if anything, I would put them later on. However, I don't even remember about putting lines because then I decorate the top and leave like very little room on Sunday for any plans. So it kind of worked out great. So here I am. I'm taking those snowed in branches from the snowbirds, and like I said, I was trying to make a scene and I wanted for it to look like we were looking down into kind of the mountains or of snow. And so I thought the branches, if they were bigger, they would look better because then it would seem like it'd be more like the branches were closer to where you were looking towards. That was kind of the look that I was trying to get. Now, I like how the branches look on that left side of the paper. I struggled here on the right side of the page for some reason, and I should have had the branch coming down from that washi, but I kind of like just cut it off spank right in the middle of the page, and I like how it looks, but it's the only thing in the middle of it, and it didn't bug me while I was planning, while I took the pictures, but now after a while, and now that I'm editing the video, I realize that it's kind of bugging me that it's just there. However, putting all the boxes and the functional stuff on the page, I think that's why it didn't bug me or didn't bother me at the time, and it's only bothering me now that I'm editing the video because it's kind of the only thing in the spanking middle of the page. So as I was planning, it didn't bug me as much. I mean, it didn't bug me at all, let's be real. So that's why I continue and move on with adding boxes. And I put that box like right up on it. And then I take that full box and I cut it down because I wanted a square box, but the colors that I wanted or needed for this spread, I didn't have a whole lot of. I am filming videos out of order, so That is why this one, like the next week is already planned for. And I had already used a lot of the boxes from the Wrong sticker book in that spread. Still, I mean, it all worked out because in the end, I used the boxes that I needed here. And like I said, our plans start to dwell down when by the end of the week. So I just need boxes, enough boxes for early on during the week. And so, like I said earlier, I did a lot of moving around and I was very indecisive where I wanted my boxes. And so here I am. I go through several processes of figuring out what I want to do and how I want to do it and getting the boxes straight because that was another thing. I couldn't put on a box straight for the love of me. And yeah, I just struggled with this spread that should have been, or I thought would have been really easy. It just wasn't at all. So I wanted to show you the process because if you go through times where you're very indecisive and you are just removing stickers and putting them back on and removing them again and then putting them back on, just know you're not the only one. Maybe we don't see it right, but you see what we do, or at least most of the people in the planner community where they are moving a lot of the boxes around. Now, I did say, like I said, I wanted enough boxes for during the week. It kind of happened that in that first, like at the beginning of the week, all the boxes ended up in that middle section, and that's fine. And then towards the end of the week, the boxes start to go around, which is spread around, which looked a lot better in my opinion. But I mean, once I take pen to like, once I put pen on my spread, it won't matter where the boxes are because I tend to write all over my spreads and I fill them up pretty quickly. And that's how I like my spreads. I like them full. So I add these boxes after I finish like making sure it's straight. I'm gonna add some quotes, and I really like these quotes from Darbi. They're very sassy and kind of, I don't know, I think they're funny. Like, let it snow everywhere but here, and I can't remember what that a second quote said, but it's something along the line like it's very cold, or unbelievably cold, something like that. You'll get to see it once I finish my spread. And then I finally got my Cricut machine to work properly, and so I was so happy to get the bears on there and the other animals that I wanted. I just wanted the two bears, and then I wanted kind of the fox. I think that's a fox coming from behind the tree, and I attempted to lift my tree up and I did a really big boo-boo and stuck my tweezers in the paper, but I fixed it with a little bit of glue. That's usually what I do. I just kind of tap it on the top and then I put some glue on it, and it's like nothing ever happened. So I do tuck the fox behind the tree, and this is pretty much my spread. So I mean, I did struggle with it, but in the end it was worth it. The layering, it's just everything looks really good and cute, and so I like it. and I hope you like it too. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Comment below what is your favorite part of the spread. If you want to see more of my content, please go to Instagram at My Little Planning Corner. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I'm hoping to put out more content. Anyway, this is it, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Bye.